state chair on the request of a member of the county executive committee shall call the meeting to convene. The authority calling the meeting shall notify each committee member in advance of the meeting of its time, place, and purpose. The authority calling the meeting shall designate a committee member as temporary chair who shall call the meeting in order to preside until the vacancy is filled. So it doesn't say who in the pecking order it takes, so.
It's just the secretary. It says that the secretary will call
a
the meeting.
meeting, yes. But in the meantime, there's nobody at the helm. Hopefully I'm not going to keel over dead, but you never know what's going to happen.
Don't even think about it.
Well, I'm ready to meet my maker anytime he wants to meet me.
We might want to consider some of that verbiage to be put in there, so that that's clear. I think most precinct chairs know the secretary is elected and therefore.
So you're wanting the secretary should remain in place even if there's a change at the county chair, but whomever wins whoever's
well, it's the
elected.
County secretary's responsibility to see that there is a meeting held for the purposes of electing a new chair.
Okay. But is the question whether or not the secretary remains under the newly elected county chair? Or
well,
is that...
That shouldn't be an issue because that person was elected by the body. So until the end of that term, unless they wish to resign, they have already been elected by the precinct chairs.
Okay.
I think what she's saying is that way the representative that's filling in the vacancy period is someone that the executive committee voted to put into office, and that way it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's more of an accountability thing, I guess, or more of a representative thing. Is that, I don't know what the right word is, but.
Well, I think it just provides clarification for everybody that is the person who.
And it is also under Section D of that same law, that person, the secretary, who designates a committee member as the temporary chair until the election to replace him is held. So that's
I thought that was
already
for the purpose of a meeting.
Yes,
A temporary chair for that meeting.
correct.
Okay.
To conduct the meeting.
Okay, so are we going to amend this section?
I think we need to bring that statement into this to clarify it. Because like you said, your people want it simple so they understand it. And most people normally jump in an organization that if something happens to the chairman, the vice chairman takes over. That's not true in the party.
So, Mary, do you wish to draft a statement?
Yeah, I can
To
pull
add to
something
that.
together and get it out to all of you.
Okay.
Well, if we do it now, then we can have an approved document, then we can go forward to a meeting with. So if you can work on.
Yeah, just be a clarification.
Okay.
It's not going to change the meaning.
Okay, section 3.
Now we're...
A vacancy in the office of the county chairman shall be filled in accordance with the provisions of section 171.025 of the Texas Election Code. A vacancy in the office of the secretary shall be filled by the executive committee on notice of the vacancy or at a special meeting called for that purpose. Is there any discussion or modification of section 3? Okay, section 4, duties
Just
of
a
the...
minute, Tom. Can we do the term of office in section 2? The term of office of the officer shall be concurrent with that of the executive committee. And then delete all that and then go on to what 3 says, which brings up the statute. Would that be the easiest way to do it, so we could vote on it?
So, so you would say the term of office of the officer shall be concurrent with that of the executive committee, except in the event of a vacancy in the office of the county chair, which shall be filled in accordance with the provisions of section da-da-da-da, and go on from there. Except, okay. Does that make sense to you, Tom?
clarifies it?
Are we trying to combine sections?
Yeah, so say,
three?
yeah, you're striking one section.
Well, no, because it goes on and talks about the vacancy of the office of secretary.
Okay.
So 2 is talking about the county
Chair.
chairman.
So you want that first sentence of section 3 moved up to section 2, essentially?
Not necessarily. I'm just saying that in section 2, if we say, at which time the appointed officers shall serve, per section 171.025, the election of a new county chairman, we insert the
Okay.
code there, leaving everything else alone, and then go on to 3, which is a separate thing about the secretary.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, sorry for interrupting, but down on the next section on B, it also addresses that issue, and that might be what she's talking about, trying to
Okay.
put that into the secretary's position instead of the county vice chair's position. I don't know for sure, but it seems you're trying to address an issue that wasn't actually brought up.
All right, before we make that change to section 2 and section 3, let's look down here at section 4 to see if there's anything in that section that addresses that. Section 4, duties of officers shall be those prescribed by the parliamentary authority adopted by the executive committee and by these bylaws as listed below. A, the county chairman. The county chairman shall be the executive committee's presiding officer and official spokesperson. He or she shall perform these duties required by the statute and by these bylaws and by the rules of the Republican Party of Texas. He or she shall be an ex officio member of all county standing and special committees. The county chairman shall maintain a current list of the name, mailing address, phone number, email address if available, and precinct number of every Republican precinct chairman who was elected in the primary runoff, or was appointed by a majority of the county executive committee participating in the election to fill a precinct chair vacancy. Is there any discussion about that section? Okay, B. County Vice Chairman. The County Vice Chairman shall assist the Chairman as requested in the performance of the duties of the office, and in the event of the death of the Chairman or his or her inability or unwillingness to serve, the Vice Chairman shall serve as acting Chairman until the Chairman resumes his or her duties or until the election of a new County Chairman. Mary, would that satisfy the change you wish to make above?
Well, I'm more concerned about what it says about the secretary.
Okay. Section
Because I really don't think the rules provide for the vice chair.
They don't. However, if it is acceptable that that provision stay in the bylaws.
Okay.
Section C, the treasurer. The treasurer shall be responsible for keeping systematic records and for complying with any applicable state and federal statutes with regard to reporting contributions and expenditures. The treasurer shall prepare a current report of financial conditions for presentation to the executive committee at each regularly scheduled meeting. Is there any discussion about the duties of the treasurer? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to section D, the secretary. The secretary shall carry out the usual duties of that office, keeping an up-to-date roll of the executive committee members and ensuring that each member receives timely notices of meetings. A permanent file containing minutes of the executive committee meetings shall be maintained. In the event of a vacancy in the office of county chairman, the secretary shall call a meeting of the executive committee for the purpose of electing a new county chairman, as provided for in section 171.025 of the Texas Election Code. The secretary is authorized to receive application for a place on the primary ballot as provided for in section 172.022A2 of the Texas Election Code. Is there any discussion about the duties of the secretary? Okay, hearing none, we will move to Article 5, meetings. Section 1, the executive committee shall meet at least once a quarter. Is there any discussion? Okay, Section 2, in each even-numbered year, one of the regular meetings shall be an organizational meeting to be held within 60 days of the date of the executive committee takes office. Is there any discussion about that section? Section 3, regular meetings shall be called by the county chairman with a minimum of 10 days notice to each executive committee member. Per RPT rules, organizational meetings are to be called with a minimum of 14 days notice. Emergency meetings may be called by the county chairman with a minimum of 5 days notice to each executive committee member. Is there any discussion in Section 3? Section 4, a special meeting must be held on petition of a minimum of 25% of precinct chairs. Notice of such meeting must be provided to every member of the executive committee and held no earlier than 5 days after presentation of the petition to the secretary and or county chairman. Is there any discussion about Section 4, special meetings? Okay, Section 5, all meeting notices must be in writing and include the date, time, and location of the meeting. A notice must include a statement of any business requiring a vote of the executive committee to be conducted at the meeting. Official action may be taken only on items listed on the notice unless unanimous consent is received from executive committee members present at the meeting to waive such requirement. Is there any discussion on Section 5 on meeting notices? Okay, let's move to Article 6, committees. The county chairman shall appoint the chairperson of any standing committees deemed necessary to carry out policies of the local party. Any discussion about Section 1? Section 2. Each committee is authorized to develop procedures for conducting the business within that committee's jurisdiction, subject to review and amendment by the full executive committee. During this discussion of Section 2. Section 3, a committee member or members may be removed from a committee upon request of the committee chairman or the county chairman. Is there any discussion on Section 3? Hearing none, we'll move to Article 7, Parliamentary Authority. The rules contained in the most current edition of Robert's Rules of Order shall govern the executive committee in all cases to which they are applicable and in which they are not inconsistent with these bylaws and any special rules promulgated by the Republican Party of Texas or any state or federal statute. Is there any discussion on parliamentary authority? Hearing none, we move to Article 8, Amendment of Bylaws. These bylaws make Section 1. These bylaws may be amended by a 2/3 vote of the members of the executive committee present and voting at the properly called meeting of the executive committee by giving notice at the previous regular meeting or by mailing, faxing, or emailing written notice to each executive committee member at least 7 days in advance of a regular or special meeting called for that purpose. During discussion on Section 1. Okay,
I have a
fine.
question.
Yes.
in addition, the only thing that the Secretary of State's office told me is that we should add to the bylaws the open meetings